All right, so I just wanted to do a quick energy update. First of all, if you are tired, you are not alone. We are at the end of the year. We are at the end of a number 9 year, and we are at the end of a cycle, a very big cycle. We are also at a very big closing of old earth, stepping into new earth consciousness. We've got the age of Aquarius really coming through very strongly. There's a lot going on. So you could be feeling various symptoms from this, including ascension symptoms, and just ready to close out and be done. Now, part of this energy update isn't just about closing. This number 9 year had a lot to do with us really understanding what we want and what we need to move forward. So that could include our physical health, our emotional health, our mental health, our spiritual health, whatever it was. We were trying to adapt or adopt new energies, new consciousness, and really bring form into what we needed rather than it just being an idea. And I think that the number 9 allowed us to do that, but also a lot of the snake energy, the Chinese astrology, we were in a snake year, so a lot of shedding and transformation. So tied with the number 9, it was a lot. It really was. So I think at this point, we are trying to figure out not how to close out, but I think what parts of us are we closing out, right? What parts are we leaving behind to then take into this new beginning? And for many of us, most of us, just as human beings, closing out doesn't happen in 24 hours. That's not the way it usually works. Closure is something that comes with a little bit of time. It comes with a ton of acknowledgement and awareness. And I think it comes with the acceptance of letting go. So now we are going to be, as we close out December and as we really start acclimating into what we want and really bringing this new level of consciousness forward, we are going to be poked and prodded a little bit with the closings. And this is so that we are ultimately making a quantum decision, meaning in all the layers of yourself, with infinite possibility available to you, we're making choices that align with where we are trying to go, who we're trying to become, what we want for our lives, our lifestyles, our families. And I think that this is what I have been guided and been continuously shown is that as we are closing this out, we are being brought to a lot of the things that we did close out. And this is just for confirmation. So this is just, if you happen to come across a situation where you're like, I haven't dealt with this in a while, this is something that I don't really want to have to deal with. This is something I thought I already healed from. It's not that you haven't healed from it. It is that it is time to make a very conscious first step into closing it down. So sometimes things don't close until we take some type of step forward. And so it's kind of like, when you think about even closure, I'm going to use that word again. You don't feel better until you're like moving forward. You don't see 2020 until it's in the rearview mirror. So part of really coming into this energy of who you are, the authenticity, it's going to feel a little bit wobbly because you're going to be met with a little bit of the old and a little bit of the new. But the trick is to keep choosing the new. Do not choose the old. Keep choosing the new over and over and over. And you'll see how things close out. And this goes for a lot of people who are ending programming and conditioning, or even the mental state of survival. Because leaving this old earth consciousness, or just the consciousness that is no longer in alignment with you, whatever that may be. I'm using survival as an example, but even dealing with survival, you may be coming across situations or coming across some type of identification that you need to do with yourself. Like, is this authentically me? Is this how I want to stand in this kind of energy? How do I want to promote all of my healing at this point? And it doesn't have to be this grand gesture. Sometimes it's just creating a small boundary. Sometimes it's placing a boundary, speaking a boundary. Sometimes it could even be, just the ability to say no, or it could even be where you finally choose yourself. And that's hard because we're in a month of giving. And it's not that you don't have to give, but it's totally safe. It's very safe for you to give back to yourself, especially if you're ending this empathic war that you have been in of giving and receiving and learning that it is time to choose yourself. I can say that without skipping a beat, because you have and always choose to give and probably tend to overgive. So now at this point, it's choosing yourself. So focusing on the external, especially with winter solstice coming up as well, focusing on the external is only going to feel more and more complicated, because as things close, they fall apart. Some things, not everything, but things can fall apart to close. So you'll see the truth of people. You'll see the truth of situations. And that can just be the beginning of the closure, or the closure altogether. Regardless, though, part of focusing in on yourself is so that you know what and who the vibration, I should say. It's the vibration that you are choosing to embody. And as you choose to embody this vibration, that the choices don't just come, they come in our daily activities and routines, but we're being shown, how do I put this? Let me back up a little bit. When the external is like falling and things are closing down, our natural instinct is to want to fix it. We want to jump in. We want to grab that thing, tear it apart, understand it, dive into it, fix it, bring that person back together or the situation, plug it all back together. But what you're forgetting is that part of where we're at now is letting things unravel. And the unraveling is so that you can see it for what it is, and you can take this time, especially during winter solstice, which starts on the 21st, for us to come into this season of winter and be able to integrate everything from the number 9 and truly understand how we want to step into the vibration, or who we are becoming, with authenticity, with our power, with focus, and with a level of determination for the number 1 year, right? We're not going to have determination the entire year. I mean, hopefully that'd be great. But the point is that we become determined because we are passionate about something. There is an emotion that is backing up the mental field. And so those emotions need to come into this season of winter to recalibrate, to be integrated, to be understood slowly and mindfully and with care and with ease and with gentleness, and above all with nurturing. And I think that what our masculine side is really learning, or our divine masculine is learning, is how much productivity and how much we are actually doing by taking the time for ourselves. Because when we take this time for ourselves, we then have so much more energy to put focus on other people, to reach out and be of service, and to do the things that we need to do, but doing it authentically, so that we're living a life that we are building and that we are creating, and not that we are just succumbing to, not just something that someone told you to do, right? You're doing it intentionally. And that intention, going into the spiritual world, or not even spiritual, also science, is that we start creating this electricity. We start creating these neural pathways in our brain that then start creating this new identification, this new identity of who you are. And identification allows for new actions. It allows you to step forward. And that's what the number 1 is about. It's about identification, and it's about new beginnings. It's about a lot of things. But coming into all of this, we first need to, I don't want to say solidify, but some of it can be solidified within yourself. Like, I'm never going to go another day without believing that my boundaries are important, or I'm never going to go another moment without feeling that my self-worth is important in how I move through the world and how I treat others and how I treat myself. And so it's things like that. And those types of things need to come into a calm halt. And that is what winter is for. It is so that you can soothe, you can nurture, you can really come into the internal, and not to pick and prod and to perfect or to perform. No. You've already done all of that work. You've already poked and you've prodded and you've healed and you've cleansed and you've done all of those things with very specific, meaningful things in your life that needed to close out. Now is really the time where you are embodying those things and coming into this realization, or this accrual, so to speak, right, of energy of what you've been through, who you are at this point. And that's hard because with the holidays and so much that we have to endure going through with other people, it's hard to come internal. It really is. And so therefore, I want to just kind of remind you that you have changed a lot. You have grown exponentially. I know you have, because this number 9 year leaves no one out. And I think that it's also about bringing your nervous system back into a place that it can conform to the new, which is feel safe in the new, right? It can feel happy in the new. It can feel emotionally stable in the new. And I think without going internal, it's hard to do that. It's hard to tell your nervous system, it's hard to tell your body that you're safe moving into these new things. And so December is really, as you close out, remember that each day. You don't have to perform. And honestly, I don't think that people want us to perform. Those that love us, performing, they're going to sense something is up anyway. So coming into that authenticity, I think, is really important. And it's hard because we have to be visible and seen, and that's a whole other story for a whole other day. But I think that I honestly feel like the reason that we are really having to sit with our nervous system in this way and really acclimate to all of these energies is so that we step into a very new energy, which is the number 1, very different from the number 9. And it's so that we also step into the year of the horse, which, if you think about a horse, right, like there's going to be a lot of energy and momentum and things like that. But what's backing up your momentum? What's backing up your beginning? What is it that's making you want to move forward? Right? So I think the closings are going to continue through January. I really do. I don't think December is our final close off. I think January will have a little bit of that. But I think it will also be integrated into beginnings. So a little bit of both. But I do feel that I have been wanting this ending for myself. I don't know about you guys, but there's so much that has been going on that I'm ready for certain things to end. I'm ready for certain consciousness to just be done with. And I'm ready to close the door on everything that no longer validates my self-worth, or not even validates, that is just not in alignment with my self-worth, that is not in alignment with who I am becoming, with who I actually am now, and with the things that I know that I want to do in this life. I want to do a lot of things, but that takes a level or a version of me that I am not yet, right? I'm soon to become, but not there quite yet. And I think that that's okay. I think this is about embodying this space, remembering this space. So If you're feeling the same way, you feel like closing the door, I am hosting a meditation that goes into the numerology. The only reason I use the numerology is because I've been using it for myself. These numbers, the numbers in the universe have a representation, a symbolic representation of energy. And by going 1 through 9, we've been through these years 1 through 9, but outside of years, just the numbers 1 through 9, we go through consistently in our lives. And I think that closing down this huge cycle, I wasn't going to even do a meditation, an end of year meditation, to be quite honest. And I was guided to do so because this is a big time for all of us. There's a lot of us that are releasing these huge programs and conditioning that we've lived with all of our lives, and now seeing this truth, and we want to embody that. And I think the meditation that I've created, I use the numerology just so that we can walk through the gates of consciousness 1 through 9 to help us release all the versions of ourselves that we have been, or even the energies from this year 1 through 9 that just are no longer in alignment with us. And I created this, I was guided to create this. And as I started creating it, I started falling in love with it because I'm so ready to let go of things and to really bring you guys into this relaxed state of consciousness, but also bring you into the subconscious. And if you know me, you know that I love, quantum energy and consciousness and meditation and the chakras. And so I combined all of these under one roof in one meditation, which most people will tell you not to do. But as of, the end of this year, I wanted to help us really close out in a very big way, but in the most gentle way I can think possible. And that is taking you through your physical body, through this calm, taking your nervous system through this calm, guided meditation where you're going and using your mental state, your emotional state, your spiritual state, and your physical state, which brings us into the quantum field of manifestation. So I want to help you close out and begin simultaneously, of course, in December. And this will happen December 28th. And we'll be doing it at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. It's called the 9 Gates Meditation. So we go through that, and I'm using quantum healing, Reiki. I'm going into the theta state. I'm bringing all the things, all the presents, all the gifts, everything I have for you, towards you, all the love I have for you. I'm like bringing it into this meditation because I want to close out in a big way. I want to close out with my whole heart pouring over you, where you're just uncomfortable sitting in all the things that I want to give you in this meditation. So it will be a little bit of a longer meditation, but I promise I'm going to take you deep enough that you can stay long enough and enjoy and feel all the work and effort. Sorry for getting a little emotional. Feel all the work and effort that you have put into this year, that you have put into everything. It is hard being human, and you have done an awesome job. So I wasn't supposed to get emotional on this, but here's to visibility and authenticity. I love you guys so much. And we're doing it. We are going to close out this number 9 year. We're going to close out December together. And we're going to do it with intention. We're going to do it with love. We're going to do it with the quantum field. We're going to do it with energy healing, light codes, all the things. Okay. So if you have questions about any of it at all, reach out to me. I am going to put the sign up link in the comments. I'm also going to put the sign up link in the video section. So if you guys have any questions or comments or even any suggestions of what you're needing to release in this meditation, if you are going to join and participate, I am full ears. I am listening. I'm here for it. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing this moment with me, and thank you so much for being a part of my world.